Shalom, shalom. In today's video, we are going to go back to the beginning, to the very beginning, and we are going to reveal the world of Atziluth and what is there. With that being said, let us begin. In the beginning, all was filled by endless light, and this endless light reached endlessly in all directions, and there was nothing that was not the substance and reflection of the endless light, but all was filled by it. And when it arose in his desire that he might create, this light constricted itself precisely in the center, infinitely from all directions. And precisely in the center was an infinitely dense and infinitely deep heart spark. And here was called Ayin, and this was the Kether of Otikyomin, meaning the Kether of the Ancient of Days. And in this place, principles existed. And understand that the principles are not the letters, but the essence of the letters. They were explained in the secret of the mark, which is the Tav, and that is the secret of the cross. And it has been explained that this was the secret of the original man. And it can be demonstrated like this. In that the endless one might have a desire, the endless light restricted itself precisely in the center, which would be the vessel of that desire, by which the essence would therefore be placed inside of. And this vessel was the restriction of the light, and these vessels each defined the light in its own way. And it should be noted that the principles existed even before the light, for Aleph separates Mem from Shin, in which yellow mixes with blue and yellow mixes with red to create green and orange. It mixes on two sides in the secret. And here, that one light, which was already defined by principle as demonstrated, restricted itself, and each one of these vacant places became a vessel by which the worlds would be created. And this was in the secret of the Nikudim, which were the various vowels that were placed with the letters. And it needs to be noted that there are 13 of them, and that these 13 Nikuds are in the secret of Yod, which times 10 would be 130, which is the secret of Ayin. And this is all in the secret of the upper eye. And it was demonstrated in a previous video that this was the secret of the whiteness of the eye, the color of the eye, and the blackness of the eye. And the principle here is that everything on the largest scale will be in a circular aspect, and everything on the smallest scale will be in a circular aspect. And similar to this, we find the breath and the mystery of constriction Tzimtzum. And so we will find the breath before the development of the motor functions. With that being said, let us continue. Having established the Ayin, which is the Kether of Votik, the Ayin Sof, which are the ends and the points, which are the Hokmah of Votik, we now have to analyze the Ayin Sof Or, and understand that Or has the same gematria value as Ayin Sof. And the secret of Ayin Sof is found in a book called Emek Hamalek. And in this book, we find that it says, it is written, he combined the beginnings with the ends, that they be Ayin Sof. In the mystery of two sequences, which is the 231 gates. And this has been explained in previous videos. But, in short, this is the totality of all possibility, for this is Aleph with every letter with Aleph, Beit with every letter with Beit. And so, as I stated, it infinitely restricted itself precisely in the center, in infinite definition, which was all possibilities accounted for. It was infinitely dense, infinitely deep heart spark, is the secret of the Bina of Otik Yomin. And the secret of the 231 gate Partsuf is written in this manner. Aleph is Kether, Beit is Hokmah, Gimel is Bina, Dalet is Da'ath, He is Chesed, Vav is Gevura, Zain is Tiferet, Ket is Netzach, Tet is Hod, Yod is Yisod, and Kaf is Malkuth. And there's a link to the backside of Kether, which is Lamed. And likewise, Mem is the backside of Hokmah, Nun is the backside of Bina, Samek is the backside of Da'ath, so on and so forth. And this is the secret of a tree on top of a tree, in which we find the tree of the face is in the Kether of the tree of the body, like this. However, here we have a back-to-back pairing, and this is in the mystery of the two halves of the brain. And to understand its principle is that every brain in existence will be left and right lobe. And the secret of the 231 gates in the Partsuf of Otik, which represented the heart spark. And the endless light poured in, and its boundary of definition was the boundary of the principles at the point of its constriction. And the light that surrounded poured into that vacant place where all those vacant universes were. And it descended to its depth and struck upon the hard spark. And it was demonstrated that Bina was in the mystery of the brain, and it was demonstrated that the constriction was the mystery of the breath, and the endless light that struck this hard spark is the secret of the hole in the top of the head, called the soft spot. And when this light struck, 7 sparks emerged. And of these 7 sparks, it is written of in Eisheim. The letters Shin, Ayin, Tet, Nun, Zain, Gimel, and Sadiq are the secret of the kings that died, since the courtices came into existence and emerged from them as we know. They are the letters Shin, Tet, Nun, Ayin, Zain, Gimel, and Sadiq. The Satan, which is the courtices, were made from them. And the kings that died were spoken of in the secret book. And it states in Sifra Desnuta, the ancient kings died and had no weapons, and the earth was made void. The mystery of the weapons is the mystery of Zain. And it says they had no weapons. And Zain is the mystery of the 7 letters that have Tagin, which Chaim Vital had explicitly mentioned in Eitzheim. And they are these letters. And the 7 sparks which emerged from the hard spark, which were the mystery of the enduring vessels, the Kether Hokmah Bina Votik, mainly being Ayin, which was the crowns, Ayin Sof, which was the Nikudim, and the Ayin Sof Or, which is the mystery of the letters. We read that 7 letters emerged, and they were the mystery of the letters with 3 Tagin, which is in the secret of Zain. And it was stated that they had no weapons, and the secret of this is that they had no lines. And the mystery of the lines meant that they were in the mystery of points and sparks. And it is stated in the Zohar that they first existed but did not endure, like flashes, like sparks. And similarly, these sparks, which are the mystery of these 7 letters, did not at first have their Tagin. And as a result of this, they did not endure. And this was a fall of 1/3 of heaven. And this fall of 1/3 of heaven were the letters Shin, Tet, Nun, which was Shaitan, Ayin, which was Azah, and Zain, which was Azazel, Sadiq, which was Mashiach that fell into a pit, and Gimel, which was the camel serpent mentioned in the Bahir. And their placements are like this. And it was explained that the Shin, Tet, Nun, which is the mystery of the Shaitan, was the secret of the beard. And it was explained that each of the 3 Tagin came from the 3 enduring vessels, mainly the Kether, Hokmah, and Bina, that endured. And as the light poured in and descended, it reached the sparks, and the first 3 sparks received 3 parts, and they became 9, which was in the secret of the beard. And of this, it was mentioned. And it says there are 3 drops on his sword, and Shaitan is called Kerub, a sword. And understand the 3 drops are the mystery of these first 3 sparks, which are the Shin, Tet, and Nun. And they are the Shaitan, and it is in the mystery of the beard. And later it says this. Rabbi Shimon began by saying in a section called the 13 Corrections of the Beard, woe to the person that extends his hand to the precious supreme beard of the holy old man, who is Arik Anpin. Regarding this, it was mentioned 9 precious features were granted to the beard. Everything that is hidden and not revealed is lofty and precious. Mainly the first enduring vessels, which were the Ayin Sof, the Ayin Sof Or, and the sparks themselves. These were concealed. The 9 precious features are the secret of the first 3 sparks receiving 3 parts, which therefore became 9 parts. And its arrangement is like this. And it was explained in Beshalach and Bo in the Zohar that Exodus chapter 14 verse 19 and verse 20 and verse 21 are each 72 characters, each creating a 72-letter name of Hashem. And it was explained that this first one was Chesed, mainly Exodus chapter 14 verse 19. And Exodus chapter 14 verse 20 was Gevurah. And Exodus chapter 14 verse 21 is Tifereth. And this has been explained here. All the second 72 letters pertain to Gevurah, so as to reveal judgments and weapons. And the secret of weapons is right here. Zain. And this is in the mystery of lines so that the sparks could endure. And it was explained that every spark received 3 parts. And the 3 parts in which each spark received were the mystery of the 72 name, the 63 name, and the 45 name. But this is not the time or place to discuss these things. What is important here is that the chesed of Otik is the kether of Arikanpin. Similarly, it has been demonstrated that Arikapin, which is the Lord is slow to anger, as it is written in Numbers, and plenty and merciful. And the word mercy there is chesed, and it ties Arakapin to chesed, which is the spark of Otik is applied to, as demonstrated. And this is the secret of 1 measure of hair to each side. And if anyone wishes to learn the secrets of the 13 tikkuns of the beard, they should read a section called Naso in the Zohar. And they should also read another section called Sefer Detzinuta, or the Secret Book. In both of these places, they will find mentionings, as well as in Book 22, a section called the Idra Rabbah, the Idra Zuta. With this being established, let us continue. But their placements are like this. And as the light poured in through the original sockets, which were above, down upon the sparks that were below, they filled back in. And similarly, we find that the chesed is the secret of Michael, the Gvora is the secret of Gabriel, and the Tiferet is the secret of Oriel, and the Yisod is the secret of Raphael. And this was called the light of the eyes, and the light of the nose, and the light of the ears, and the light of the mouth, etc. And it is shown like this. And this was called the face of light, or Faneh. And the next 2 sparks were the secret of Ain and Zain, or Azza and Azazel, are the secret of Abba and Ima. They are the Netzach and Hod of Otik. And it should be understood that Abba is the secret of 248 positive commandments, and Ima is the secret of 365 negative commandments. And the progression is Netzach into Hod. And one should understand that the bones were inside the flesh. And this is the secret of bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And it has been established. Thus, we will analyze the mouth, having established the revealing of the head, mainly the head of the Ancient of Days called Otik Yomin. We have seen the striking of the head and the soft spot. We have seen the 2 brains. We have seen the face of light, and we have seen the beard that drips with the dew of light, and its likeness is like this. And Abba is Hokmah. And Hokmah is the secret of 248 positive commandments, which is the secret of the 248 spiritual bones, as mentioned in the Zohar, that the positive commandments were spiritual bones, 248 of them. The negative commandments were 365 muscles and tendons and sinews of the flesh, and this is white and red. And similarly, Abba is the right, and Ima is the left. And the secret of this is that every male in existence will produce white in the Yisod, and every female in existence will produce red in the Yisod. And their circular aspect is the 32 teeth of the mouth, their linear aspect of 32 sections of the spine. And the secret is 32 paths of Hokmah, wisdom, and it was demonstrated that wisdom is Abba, which is bone. Mainly that this is the Hokmah of Zeran Pin, despite the fact that it is the Netach of the Ancient of Days, Otikyo Min. And understand that Abba is garbed inside of Ima, the bone is garbed inside of the flesh, and will be with all things in existence. And in the Partsuf of Abba, everything is in perfect unison, in perfect balance, as Hokmah and Bina is to Kether. And therefore, of the male, his Partsuf will look like this. And the word Abba is Aleph, Hey, Beit, Hey. And the secret is, the value is 13, because Abba and Ima are concealed underneath the beard. And Ima, it is stated in Esheim that she bows to Abba. And the secret of the bowing is that the head is at the chest, to signify that her Kether, Hokmah, Bina, Tiferet, etc. is at the chest of Abba. And the mystery of this is that the Shefa of Abba, which is the white, flows from the upper part of Ima. Therefore, in a woman, we will find that her Yesod produces red, but her upper half produces white, like this. Similarly, the highest of the lights fell the lowest. And so, the beasts, which were created out of the Partsufim of Abba and Ima, are covered in hairs. And similarly, in the likeness of Ima bound to Abba, they will protrude bones from their head in these three places. And likewise, they will have bone on their backs. And in the animal kingdom, you will find animals are either scaly without hairs, covered in hairs, or horned. And its likeness will be sideways always, in this manner. And they overlap Ima and Abba. And it is known the Da'as endures, and it is known the Malkuth falls into Malkuth, and this leaves 6 overlapping Sephirot. And these are the mystery of 6 letters with 1 Tagin, and their mystery is this. Thus, the vessels of Sava and Tavuna were made, which would later be Zeran Pin, and we know that Zeran Pin is exactly 6 Sephirot, which are Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. In Israel, Sava and Tavuna means essence and vessel. And they came from the backs that descended from the coupling of Abba and Ima, and one should not think that there is one without the other. And they were in the likeness of the 2 stones engraved on the shoulders of the high priest, on each side having 6 tribes. 6 in the mystery of the vessels of Sava, and 6 in the mystery of the vessels of Tavuna, and their likeness was like this. And they gathered in the chest, which was the secret of 1 hair that descended in good measure to the chest, and the secret of the hair of the beard and Tiferet. And this is not the place to explain this, but it needs to be stated that there were 6 tribes on one shoulder and 6 tribes on another shoulder, and in between were the 12 tribes. And the 12 tribes have 49 characters, which are the 49 gates of understanding, which is Bina, and its relation to the chest, which is Tiferet Zeranpin. And it is known that the Shefa of Ima descends to Tiferet. And it is known that Ima is the secret of the left brain, and her Shefa descends to the heart. And similarly, the heart is on the left side and is located in the chest, and is where you feel emotion, which is the stimulation of the left side. Similarly, Abba, which is the right side, descends his Shefa into the Yisod of Zeranpin, which is the genitals, and responsible for sensual. And it has been explained in the secret of the breasts, and it has been explained in the mystery of Abba and Ima and Saba and Tavuna, which are in the mysteries of the vessels, which would be the various organs, etc., etc., etc. And the hair of good measure was in the mystery of the Shefa, and it was in the mystery of the umbilical cord, which is from the outside. And it is noted that the Netzach, Hod, and Yisod are in the mystery of the two breasts and the belly button. And the belly button is linked to where the umbilical cord was linked. And the human genome is made out of 22 different types of chromosomes, as well as one genetic factor. And these are the principles of the word, as well as its determining factor, which is Hashem. And it is known that the Yisod of Otik is Zeranpin, and as there is a beard above, mainly the beard to the face, there is also a beard to Yisod, to the genitalia, and it mirrors. And it is even that the pubic hair below is the same as the hair of the face. And the secret of this is Yud Vav Yud, and this is the gematria value of 10, 6, and 10, which is 26. This same gematria as Yod He Vav He, which is Zeranpin, which is Tiferet. And in the likeness of the first three sparks, which are the Chesed, Gevurah, and Tifereth, which are the two eyes and the nose, we saw in the beard, we see this likeness as well in the eyes, as the eyes and the nose are a Yud Vav Yod. And likewise below, in the genitalia, or in a woman with ovaries. And its likeness is demonstrated here. And the last is the single Sephirot Malkuth. And inside of Malkuth was engraved all the upper parts of him, and all of the upper constructs. And this was in the secret of the semen, as inside of it is engraved all the prerequisites for life, and all of its constructs. And it is known that all of the Partufim had Malkuth. And so if the Malkuth was from Abba and Ima, therefore they would have the construct of Abba and Ima, and that of being an animal or a lizard or some other type of construct. And likewise with all of the worlds. And it needs to be stated that the remaining 9 letters, which are the letters without tagin, are the backs of the Partsufim of Malkuth. And it is known the only Sephirot and the Partsufim of Asiya that endured is the Malkuth. And it is explained like this. In the description below, I will be leaving a link to a book that will be revealing all of these principles from the very beginning. If you'd like to support this channel, you can at my Patreon /Yaira. I'll leave a link in the description below. And likewise, you can support by sharing this content with your friends and in any social groups that you might be in. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll also be leaving a link to a various means of getting a hold of me. With that being said, Shalom, Shalom.